With the Ahsoka series now concluded after its 8-episode run, we've seen characters embark on journeys of success, face bitter failures, and seek new beginnings. The show has taken us on a captivating adventure, but the question remains, which episode stands out as the best of the bunch? Welcome to Star Wars Deconstructed, students of the Force and acolytes of the galaxy. Whether you're a Jedi, Sith, or somewhere in between, join us today as we dive into the world of Ahsoka and rank every episode from worst to best, exploring the highs and lows of this remarkable series. Episode 5. Coming in at the top spot, Shadow Warrior is undoubtedly the most impressive Ahsoka episode. It masterfully avoids the pitfalls of excessive fan service that could easily have crept in, thanks to the world between worlds concept. Instead of drowning us in meaningless cameos and nostalgia, this episode uses the concept to advance Ahsoka's character and the overall plot. But the highlight of Shadow Warrior has to be the epic lightsaber duels. Ahsoka's clashes with Anakin were beautifully executed, whether against the backdrop of the world between worlds or the Clone Wars battles. Hayden Christensen's performance was a stroke of genius, spanning 3 different eras of the Jedi's life. He effortlessly transitioned from his Clone Wars days to mentorship and even his darker side, making these battles some of the best in the entire saga. The icing on the cake is Ahsoka's transformation into Ahsoka the White, marking a renewal and hope for her character as we head into the final chapters of Ahsoka. This episode, Shadow Warrior, unquestionably takes the crown as the show's best episode yet. Episode 6. From the very start, with Huyang invoking those iconic Star Wars words, "A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away," this episode firmly establishes its unique setting. It's a breath of fresh air after several episodes of teasers and hints. The sense of adventure in exploring a brand new galaxy gives Far, Far Away a different tone. The details of Thrawn's alliance with the Night Sisters of Dathomir and the betrayal of his army, having spent nearly a decade in exile, add depth and tension to his character. The reintroduction of Thrawn is nothing short of spectacular, and it lives up to the anticipation that's been building. And let's not forget the compelling plot points surrounding Ahsoka's secondary antagonists, Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati, as they search for a way to end the cycle of changing regimes in the Star Wars galaxy. Their storyline remains one of the most intriguing aspects of Ahsoka. To top it all off, the highly anticipated return of Ezra Bridger, portrayed by Iman Esfandi, brings a heartwarming reunion between 2 beloved characters from Star Wars Rebels. All these elements come together to make Far, Far Away the show's second best installment, surpassed only by Episode 5. Episode 7. This episode kicked off by addressing the much anticipated continuation of Harrison Dula's story after her absence in the previous episode. Her tribunal against the New Republic was a great way to keep her character development going, even though she didn't travel to Peridea with Ahsoka. And speaking of surprises, the appearance of C-3PO was a welcome addition, bringing in a legacy character like Leia Organa by proxy, even though she didn't physically appear. However, the real star of Dreams and Madness was the action-packed adventure on Peridea. Lars Mikkelsen's Grand Admiral Thrawn continued to prove why he is such a formidable antagonist, showcasing his tactical genius, military expertise, and intimate knowledge of his enemies. It was a high-stakes game, and Thrawn was always several steps ahead. If not for the intriguing character of Baylan Skoll choosing his own path over Thrawn's, the Chiss Grand Admiral might have captured Ahsoka, Sabine and Ezra securing his victory. But even without that, Thrawn had multiple backup plans in place, including delaying our heroes while he secured his mysterious cargo. This not only highlighted Thrawn's brilliance, but also set the stage for a thrilling showdown in Ahsoka Episode 8, which seems increasingly likely to favor the Imperial forces. The climax of the episode featured Ahsoka heroically dropping onto the planet to face off against Baylan Skoll once more, culminating in an emotional reunion that left Rebels fans teary-eyed. By the end of Dreams and Madness, with the promise of a sinister conclusion to the series, it secured its spot as one of the top 3 Ahsoka episodes. Episode 4. Coming off the abrupt ending of Episode 3, Time to Fly, the 4th episode, Fallen Jedi, wasted no time in diving into the heart of Ahsoka's story. The conflicts between Merrick, Shin, Ahsoka, and Sabine were both highly anticipated and delivered in 2 intense rematches. The duel between Merrick and Ahsoka took an unexpected turn when Merrick's secret identity was revealed, adding a thrilling twist to the battle. The lightsaber choreography in these action sequences was notably improved from what we saw in Ahsoka Episodes 1 and 2, raising our hopes for more impressive battles in the series' later episodes. This improvement was evident in the climactic showdown between Baylan and Ahsoka, showcasing Baylan's incredible strength and dropping intriguing hints about his past and motivations. The late Ray Stevenson's performance was a standout in this episode, making Baylan Ahsoka's most intriguing character thus far. Despite a few minor inconsistencies, Fallen Jedi managed to deliver some major Star Wars revelations that more than made up for any lapses in logic. The revelation about Sabine's family perishing in the Great Purge of Mandalore was a significant development for her character while also tying Ahsoka's story to the Mandalorian. The suggestion that this tragedy might have been prevented had Ahsoka trusted her apprentice added depth to the storyline, setting up Sabine's decision to give Baylan the map. Sabine's sense of isolation following her family's loss and Ahsoka's apparent death drove her to determination to find Ezra, even if it meant handing the map to Thrawn. Episode 8. The Season 1 finale, The Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord, takes the 5th spot on our list. Now, while this episode had its strong points, it also suffered from a common issue that had plagued many Disney Plus shows, a lack of finality. The Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord seemed torn between concluding Season 1's arc and setting up future stories, leaving both aspects feeling somewhat underwhelming. Nevertheless, there were elements that worked quite well. The action in this episode was top-notch. The siege on the Night Sister Fortress by Ahsoka, Ezra, and Sabine was a visual spectacle. The sight of these 3 Jedi teaming up, complete with Ezra's new lightsaber and a touching mention of his late master, Kanan Jarrus, was a highlight. The undead Night Troopers, while not the most formidable threat for the 3 Jedi, were visually inventive and carried an eerie vibe due to their Night Sister origins. However, it's worth noting that the lack of Baylan and Shin in this episode was somewhat disappointing. Their appearances felt tacked on for the sake of future storylines, and Thrawn's return didn't carry the same sense of urgency and threat as in previous episodes. Episode 2. Coming in just above its predecessor is Ahsoka Episode 2, Toil and Trouble. After the necessary character introductions and plot setup in the first episode, the second part of the 2-episode premiere really allowed the show to hit its stride in terms of plot progression. Ahsoka's journey to Corellia alongside Hera was a highlight, culminating in an exhilarating aerial dogfight sequence and Ahsoka's first face-off with the enigmatic Inquisitor Merrick. These scenes provided a glimpse of the thrilling action sequences we could expect from Ahsoka while advancing the overarching plot of the race to find Grand Admiral Thrawn. What truly sets Toil and Trouble apart, however, was the unveiling of the series' promising plot. The episode confirms that Thrawn and Ezra were stranded in separate Star Wars galaxies, opening up a world of possibilities not just for Ahsoka, but for the entire Star Wars franchise. This revelation, combined with the recreation of Star Wars Rebels' iconic epilogue where Sabine vows to find Ezra as Ahsoka's Padawan, sets the stage for an exciting conflict to come. All of these elements combined make Toil and Trouble stand out, making it even better than both its predecessor and successor. Episode 1. Starting off the Ahsoka series, of course, is Episode 1, Master and Apprentice, which ranks just above Time to Fly. This premiere episode faced the formidable challenge of catering to fans who are well acquainted with animated shows like Star Wars The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, while also engaging viewers who are new to these characters, stories, and worlds. Considering this Herculean task, it's impressive how Episode 1 of Ahsoka manages to strike a balance. The performances, direction, and writing come together seamlessly, complemented by well-placed Star Wars Easter eggs that helps fans reacquaint themselves with this corner of the universe, while also providing enough intrigue to captivate those unfamiliar with previous stories. Ahsoka Episode 1's ambitious task of crafting a compelling story for 2 distinct sets of fans ultimately succeeds, despite occasional moments of extended exposition that slow down the overall momentum. Episode 3. At the bottom of our Ahsoka episode ranking is the show's 3rd installment, Time to Fly. It's important to note that, thus far, none of the Ahsoka episodes can be considered outright bad. They all play a role in advancing the overarching story, with Time to Fly serving as a stepping stone in the larger narrative. One of the key criticisms in this episode is its brevity, as it's the shortest of the series, running just over 30 minutes before the credits roll. This concise runtime gives Time to Fly a somewhat rushed feeling, and the episode concludes rather abruptly. However, despite this rushed feeling due to its shorter duration, the rest of Time to Fly largely works well. The scene involving Hera and the New Republic Senate Committee provides a fascinating insight into the hubris that contributes to the rise of the First Order. Additionally, Ahsoka and Sabine's storylines evokes the feel of a live-action Clone Wars episode. Nonetheless, the episode's main drawback is its limited plot progression. If not for the Purrgil and Huyang's revelations about the Eye of Sion, Time to Fly could have been criticized as a filler due to its stepping stone nature. Despite the episode's short duration and its role as a smaller step in the broader journey, Time to Fly is a serviceable installment in the Ahsoka series, although it doesn't quite reach the heights of its counterparts. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the channel and watch the next one.